Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Scrap the Boys Challenge, and this month of July we are creating and to be inspired by using numbers somehow on our layouts. This was such a fun one to put together this month, and I decided, even though it's winter here in Australia, I decided I'm going to create with a summer page. And the perfect way to do that is by creating with the Cocoa Vanilla Sun Kiss collection. It is by far my most favorite ever collection from Cocoa Vanilla. I say that every time I see one of their collections, but it is absolutely it just sings to me so much. I have so much of it. I'll be creating with this for years for sure. Now, I'm also incorporating a cut file today, which I've pre-backed already, and that is from a Cut to You. I am on the design team for a Cut to You, of course. It is my favorite cut file store, and the cut file I'm using today is called Summer Sun, and I actually have cut it in half. So it is normally a full circle sun, but I'm going for a halfy page for my layout today. So to go with my sun, I need the sky. So to create that, I have grabbed out my shimmers paints and sprays and just creating, using the packaging technique, to just put some watercoloring across my page to create this sky effect that I'm looking for. The packaging technique is absolutely the easiest way to use inks and sprays on your page. It's messy, yes, but it's heaps of fun. It is definitely my most favorite way to create with mixed media. It is as simple as just spraying on onto plastic packaging, adding a little bit of water as well, sometimes to water things down, and smushing that around the page. I also come in and use a brush as well from time to time, just to give the edges just a bit of a soft touch. And I've also just making sure that it gets around the page, and to give a little bit of depth and color around as well. I'll tell you the colors that I've used today. I've used Vibes in Jenny B Blue, which was that first spray. The paint pot that I've used, that darker sort of turquoisey color, it's one of the Shimmers Originals. So it has got gorgeous shimmery shimmers within that paint, and it's called Tickle Me Turquoise. And then I wanted to lighten it up in a couple of areas as well. So for this one, I've also just adding a little bit of water to the page and just smushing that around as well. And then I do come in as well with Creamy's Ride the Tide, and that is just a little bit of paler blue. So I just wanted to give a little bit of different color tones around the sky. We all know when you look at the sky, it can look completely different from one angle to another, and so that's sort of what I was aiming for. I decided I would dry most of it with my heat tool as well, because I love the backgrounds with the paint when you can get those little swirly darker moments and things like that. I love how that looks. So to go with my sky, I want a little bit of yellow here that I'm putting on, and this is a Lindy's Gang Magicals in Yellow Rose of Texas, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? Let me see. Yes, Yellow Rose of Texas. I'm still sitting on my desk. And to do that, you just need to add a little bit of the powder to my page, and I added some water and then spread it around the page. Now, I used the yellow because of my photos that you'll see here in just a moment, and I wanted to tie back to the yellow tones that I'm using in the collection as well. Excuse me. I'm also going to add some splatters to the page, nothing better than some white splatters. And to do that today, I'm using some cheap acrylic paint, and I'm just going to water that down and then splatter all over my background here. Now, it certainly does look a bit messy. I love that about mixed media. And once you start bringing back the cut file, which I did do several times while I was pulling this background together just to see what it would look like. And I'm really happy with with that result. That's the one good thing about when you're using a cut file or whatever you're bringing in. It's a really good idea to bring it back occasionally just to see where you're at. Do you need to add any more? Do you need to rub some off? So I should mention that I have gessoed my white cardstock here. So if I didn't like a section, I could lift that off quite quickly before it dries, and it doesn't really leave too much behind. And I love that about using gesso. What it does do when you're using mixed media is you'll see here my page is already starting to wrinkle up. Now that doesn't bother me because by the time you've stuck things down and then it goes into an album or whatever, it does start to flatten out. Sometimes if I do have some time, I will put some heavy things on the page, but this is how I tend to work. Once I've started, I don't really like stopping. I find I lose my momentum, and in some cases, it takes me days to come back to it. I'm not, I get a bit distracted quite quickly. So if I don't get my things done sort of in one sort of sitting or maybe two sittings, I will never finish it. Or when I'll come back, I'll wonder what on earth I was doing, and I find it really hard to get back into the swing of where I was heading when I was creating. All right, so I'm starting to think, yep, I like this. It's where I want it to go. I want to pop up my cut file onto some foam as well. And I'm just using some craft foam that I get at Spotlight. And because I've used so much mixed media on the page as well, I am sticking everything down with some wet glue. In this situation, I'm using Scotch tacky glue. That was my closest that I had to me at that point. I either used that or Nuvo glue. I sort of teeter between the two of them. And I have fast forwarded a little bit here. I've cut a little bit out. But this is just really me finalizing things with determining where I'm going to put the ephemera pieces. And because I wanted a sky, and I've created that sky, and I'm really happy with that, with how it's sitting around the sort of rays of the sun there, I added in the rainbow. I mean, what's not to love about a rainbow? And just added those clouds in that are from the ephemera pack from the collection as well. And I've adding in some flowers to the page, and I'm looking here around. I want to give them some dimension because I've popped those photos up on foam as well, just to go along and meet and join the same section, the same height as the cut file. So to give those flowers some dimension, I put some foam underneath some of them as well, but I'm also curling up the edges to give that sort of fluttery a feel to them as well. Oh my goodness, I just love those flowers from this collection. I know I rave about it every time I use it, but they are just so beautifully bright and colourful and just so summer to me when I'm creating with this one. My photos today are photos taken from ages ago. I'm still working through photos from there that I've got sitting in boxes. I've got so many photos in boxes, it's not funny. I know I'll never scrap them all. And this is just a lazy weekend. We're mucking around in the backyard with a slip and slide. So this is where my title comes in, and this is where I'm using numbers on my layout for this challenge this month. So I took the inspiration from that photo on the top left-hand side there, which is my brother-in-law, and he is kicking off Jacob into the slip and slide. So I thought 1, 2, 3 slide was a great way to describe what was going on here. So that's where I headed with this layout and the inspiration for the challenge this month. So I'm just finalizing and having a play around using what else can I use. I popped that banner on the bottom photo there on the right hand side. Again, another cute little banner. I think that was my last banner actually, so I'm a bit sad about that. I have more floral ephemera than I have of the actual ephemera pieces. Looking to see whether I can put some of the wood buttons on. I love those wood buttons. Just looking around, what else can I put on here? Is it ever making it too heavy? I put some of the clear stickers on that bottom right hand side just to get a little bit of a cluster moving there, because I've also added on some of the word the word stickers as well from the collection kit as well. So I just wanted to make sure that that was extended and it didn't leave a sort of a blank spot right there at the bottom of that right-hand photo. Just having a bit of a play here and making sure my letters are fitting across the page nicely. I did snuck in a little flower on that right-hand side just to finish off that cluster along that photo where the photos join, and a little ephemera piece on the top left-hand side of that left-hand photo as well. I will also make sure that I pop in the description box below, all the details to the blog, where you can find all the details and all the amazing inspiration this month from the rest of the creative team. You are going to love it. Please pop over and have a look, and we would love it if you played along this month. We've got some great entries every month. It's so great to see everyone creating all the boys in their lives. And I will leave all the details in the description box below on how you can do that, and join us over at Facebook as well. Now, to finish off the page, I really felt that it needed a border. I don't always put borders on my page, but recently I have started putting a lot of borders on just to give it a bit of a closure and somewhere for my, I don't know, I think it's just a thing that I'm doing right now. I didn't really need it, but I really felt, no, it did. Looking at it right now, I'm glad I did. So I very rarely put the borders on first because I don't know half the time where I'm heading with a layout, particularly when I'm using mixed media. So I am cutting down my layout there. I have gutted out that gorgeous blue paper as well, because I know I'm going to use it for another layout. I mean, I have so much of it, I don't really need to gut it, but I really don't want to waste it as well. So you'll see here I'm having a little bit of a trouble cutting that down because it's all gessoed and all sorts of things. And then I stick that down with some tacky glue as well, so it's going to be there forever. And I ruffle up the edges as well just to give it a little bit of lift off the page and a bit of dimension as well. And that is done. So thank you so much for joining me today. I have got a few close-ups for you as well, and I hope you have an opportunity to create this month. Please pop over, like I said, and check out everyone else's creatives this month. Oh, yeah, I put some splatters, some gold splatters on the page with my Kaiser gold mist as well. And that will finish it off. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I really appreciate you spending some of your creative time with me. I would love it if you'd hit that like or subscribe if you're new to my channel. I will see you next time. Bye for now.